Have you ever wondered if there's a way to plant yourself so deeply in your ex's mind that they can't stop thinking about you? What if I told you that 3 simple text messages could rewire their entire emotional landscape and make you absolutely impossible to forget? Stay with me because what I'm about to share might just change everything about how you approach getting your ex back. I'm going to be completely honest with you right from the start. What you're about to learn isn't some generic relationship advice that everyone else is peddling online. These are psychological techniques that tap into the deepest parts of human consciousness, the parts that control desire, curiosity, and emotional attachment. But here's the thing, and this is crucial. These methods only work if you use them correctly and with the right intentions. Before we dive into these 3 magical texts, I need you to understand something fundamental about the human psyche. Our brains are wired to pay attention to unfinished business. It's called the Ziggarnic effect, and it's the reason why you can't stop thinking about a movie that ended on a cliffhanger or a song that gets cut off halfway through. When something feels incomplete, our minds become obsessed with finding resolution. Your breakup, regardless of who initiated it, created unfinished business in your ex's mind. Even if they seem completely over you, even if they've moved on with someone else, there's still a part of their subconscious that's trying to make sense of what happened between you two. These 3 texts are designed to activate that part of their brain and make you impossible to ignore. The first magical text I want to share with you is what I call the curiosity gap message. This text works because it creates an information void that your ex's brain will desperately want to fill. Here's how it works. You're going to send them something that hints at important information without actually revealing what that information is. The message might sound something like this: I just realized something about us that changes everything. I wish I had figured this out earlier. Then you stop. You don't elaborate. You don't explain what you realized. You just leave them hanging with that incomplete thought burning in their mind. Now, I know what you're thinking. Won't this seem manipulative? Won't they see right through it? Here's the beautiful part about this technique. Even if they logically understand that you're trying to get their attention, their emotional brain doesn't care. The curiosity gap creates a psychological itch that they absolutely have to scratch. But timing is everything with this first text. You can't send it immediately after your breakup when emotions are still raw and they might be angry with you. You need to wait until things have cooled down, until you've both had time to process what happened. The ideal window is usually somewhere between 3 to 8 weeks after your last contact, depending on the circumstances of your breakup. The second magical text is what I call the validation bridge. This one is incredibly powerful because it does something most people never think to do after a breakup. Instead of focusing on what went wrong or trying to argue your case for why you should get back together, you're going to acknowledge something positive about their growth or their choices. This might look something like, I've been thinking about how you handled that situation with your family last year. I never told you this, but watching you stand up for yourself like that made me respect you even more. I hope you know how strong you are. What makes this text magical is that it accomplishes several things simultaneously. First, it shows that you've been thinking about them, but in a positive way rather than a needy or desperate way. Second, it demonstrates that you see them as a complete person with admirable qualities, not just as someone you want back. Third, it creates a positive emotional association with your name in their phone. When your ex reads this message, they're going to feel genuinely good. They might even smile. And here's the crucial part, they're going to associate that good feeling with you. You become the person who made them feel appreciated and seen, rather than the person who caused them pain during the breakup. But there's a specific way you need to deliver this message to maximize its impact. You can't just compliment them on something obvious or superficial. It has to be something specific, something that shows you really paid attention to who they are as a person. It should reference a moment or quality that maybe no one else has ever acknowledged about them. The third and most powerful magical text is what I call the quantum leap message. This one is designed to completely shift the dynamic between you and plant the seed of possibility in their mind. But it's also the most advanced technique, and if you use it wrong, it can backfire spectacularly. The quantum leap message acknowledges the breakup while simultaneously opening a door to a different future. It might sound something like this: I know we both needed this time apart to grow. I'm grateful for everything I've learned about myself. If there's ever a version of us that makes sense again, I think it would be pretty incredible. Notice how this message does several sophisticated things at once. It shows maturity by acknowledging that the breakup served a purpose. It demonstrates personal growth by mentioning what you've learned. It plants the idea of reconciliation without being pushy or demanding. It frames getting back together as an upgrade, a better version of your previous relationship rather than just going back to the way things were. But here's where most people mess this up. They send this message too early, when they haven't actually done any personal work. They send it when they're feeling desperate rather than when they're genuinely in a better place. Your ex will be able to sense immediately if this message is coming from desperation or from genuine growth. The real magic happens when you've actually used your time apart to become a better version of yourself. When you send this message from a place of authentic self-improvement rather than manipulation, it hits completely differently. Your ex will sense that something has shifted in you, and they'll be curious about what that shift means for both of you. Now, let me share the secret about timing all three of these messages. You don't send them back to back. You don't send them all in the same week. These messages need space to breathe and work their magic. The ideal sequence is to send the curiosity gap message first, then wait at least a week to see how they respond. If they engage positively, you can follow up with the validation bridge message another week or two later. The quantum leap message should only come after you've re-established some positive communication and you've genuinely done work on yourself. But here's what's really important to understand. These texts are not magic spells that will automatically make your ex come running back to you. They're tools designed to open doors and create opportunities for reconnection. What you do with those opportunities depends entirely on whether you've actually addressed the underlying issues that led to your breakup in the first place. If you send these messages but you haven't changed anything about yourself or your approach to relationships, you might get their attention temporarily, but you won't be able to sustain it. Real reconciliation requires real growth, not just clever text messages. I also want to address something that might be on your mind right now. Is it ethical to use psychological techniques to influence your ex's thoughts and feelings? This is a question I think about a lot, and here's my honest answer. If your intention is to manipulate them into a relationship that isn't healthy for either of you, then no, it's not ethical. But if your intention is to create an opportunity to rebuild something better than what you had before, then these techniques can be part of a healthy reconnection process. The key is in your motivation and your follow-through. Are you using these texts because you've genuinely grown and you believe you could create a healthier relationship together? Or are you using them because you can't handle being alone and you want to go back to a dysfunctional dynamic? Your ex will eventually sense the difference, even if they can't articulate it. Before you send any of these messages, I want you to do some serious self-reflection. Ask yourself why you really want your ex back. Is it because you miss them as a person, or because you miss not being single? Is it because you believe you could build something beautiful together, or because your ego is bruised? Be brutally honest with yourself, because your ex deserves honesty, and so do you. Remember, the most attractive thing you can be to anyone, including your ex, is someone who is complete on their own. Someone who wants to be with them but doesn't need to be with them. These magical texts work best when they come from someone who has rediscovered their own worth and wants to share their improved self with someone they care about. So you have it. 3 magical texts that can make your ex think about you non-stop. But use them wisely, use them ethically, and most importantly, use them only after you've done the inner work necessary to create something better than what you had before.